Hi, I'm Kelly. Hi, I'm Kelly. Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is where I'll be sharing free video tutorials and interesting wire wrapping techniques. So hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments below if there's any techniques you would like me to cover. So check out my Etsy shop if you want to see my written tutorials. And thanks everybody. I shall see you there. Hi, I'm Kelly from Jones Jewellery. Got quite a large pendant here for you today. So today I'm going to be going through how you make this pendant. Nice bit of weaving. Quite relaxing to do if you do have the time to sit and weave for a bit. I'll put a list in the description below of everything you'll need to make this one. It's huge, isn't it? So Facebook, Instagram, it's got all my links in there. My Etsy shop where I sell all my written tutorials if anyone's interested in having a look at those. To make this pendant you'll need 0.8mm wire, and I've cut 4 lengths at 14 inches, which is 36 centimetres. Weaving wire. Now, I would normally recommend you use 0.315, which is 28 gauge. But today I'm using a gauge smaller just to have a go to see how it looks. I'm using 0.2mm, which is 32 gauge. So you can try that if you like. I'm also trying titanium wire because it's cheaper than silver and it looks nice and it's nickel free. So it's going to be really good for your skin. You're not going to have any allergies to it. So I thought I'd give that a try. Quite a large teardrop cab I'll be using today. This is 40mm long by 20mm at the widest point. So I've got pliers, round nose pliers, wire cutters, nylon pliers. If you don't have these, don't worry. I just like having these handy for straightening wires and flattening weaves and things like that. So position your thumb centrally on the wires and we'll start just to the left of your thumb there. So take your weaving wire and we'll start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire, and then we'll go once around the bottom 2 wires, bringing the wire up between those 2, once around the middle 2, bringing the wire up between those 2, and then we'll go over the top, so going around the top 2, bringing the wire up between those 2. On the way down we'll go once around each wire, so go around the top wire, come up between the middle 2, over the 3rd wire, come up between the bottom 2, over the, is that in focus? Over the 2nd wire, and then around the bottom wire. So that's our repeat. So we're just going to keep repeating that weave over all 4 wires. So on the way up we go around 2, oh come on, where's it gone? That's right. And then on the way back down we go around each one individually, so we just wrap around 1. Keep pushing your weave together as you go. So I'm going to finish with 3 wraps around the bottom wire, and when you've pushed all that weave together it measures 1 centimetre if you include the wraps on the bottom as well. So we'll cut those wires and press the ends down flat with your pliers. Make sure your weave is still nice and central on the wires, and then grip the weave with your pliers. We're going to go just to the right of the centre and then bend that weave, and we're going to try and match it up with the angle at the bottom of the stone, so the V in the stone. is what we need to match up with that angle there. So it needs to sit nice and snug at the bottom there. So then carefully take your wires around your stone. And let your wires cross over at the top there. Cross over each other. You still want to keep them nice and flat next to each other. Don't let these cross over each other. They cross over the other ones at the top there. So we want a gap at the top. So making sure your stone is pressed down into the shape at the bottom there. And the wires come nice and tight around the sides of the stone. We're going to take the wires at the top and we're just going to bend them out. I don't think my fingers are up to that today, so I'm just going to wriggle my pliers there to get the shape. And then I'm going to bend them out with my fingers where the shape is. So we've got that. So putting the stone to one side for now, I'm just going to put a bit of a weave on the side here just to hold it all together, and we'll do the same weave that we did at the bottom. So start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire and do exactly the same weave but up here on these wires here. So I've done roughly the same amount of repeats as we did for the bottom weave. Push all that together. And then we're going to finish again with the 3 wraps around the bottom wire. So we'll just cut the wires here. Where's my cutter's gone? And press those cut ends down. So turn it over. And now we need to wrap 3 times around that top wire. Slide it down a little bit. Oh yes, and I did do that one quite close to the top where the wires bend. So we're working on the top wire now. So then do that weave upside down. So coming back down, we go around each wire individually. Same weave as the bottom. Same amount of repeats. So we come down, we go around each wire individually, and then on the way back up, we're going around 2 wires. So it's all the same weave. Lots of this weave in this one today, but I fancy doing a bit of weaving. Nice and relaxing to just sit and do a little bit of weaving, and it looks so pretty when it's all done. So repeat that weave for the same amount of repeats as you did before. Keep pushing the weave together as you go. So do the same amount of repeats on this side and then finish with 3 wraps around that top wire. So I finished that weave on that side, I've pressed it all together, I've finished with 3 wraps around that top wire. Whoops. And then I will cut that at both ends and press the ends down. So recheck the shaping of your wire. Make sure your stone still fits and is nice and snug. We'll attach the wires at the top there. So wrap around one of the back wires 3 times. Pull it down to where the wires are going to meet. We're going to hold it together and we're going to wrap around the whole thing. So my wires are quite springy, so I'm really having to hold it together. Wrap around it several times. And then wrap around that back wire 3 times to finish it off, so it holds it all nice, holds it all together. We'll cut the beginning of that, cut the little tail end off, and next we'll attach our stone. So reposition your stone and make sure it still fits in there. And we'll start at the back. If we start at the back, we can kind of have a little practice with bending the wires, and then we can get the front hopefully tidier. What we're going to do is we're going to take this back wire, we're going to pull it over the stone just a little bit, just make a gap between the wires. We're going to bend this wire, and it's best to try and do it first time, because if you're going to keep bending it and adjusting it, we're going to mark the wire. So we're going to try and do it first time. So grab the wire at the bottom, and in one go we're going to pull it across, twisting it the back of the stone. And I held it at the top to hold the wire shape at the top, and I just bent the bottom of the wire in. And we do that for this side. So make a gap with this other back wire here. Grip that wire. Then in one go, we're going to twist it over the back of the stone. Try and match up the amount of twist to the other one. Again, holding the wire at the top so it holds it in place while we twist the bottom in. And that's the stone held in from the back. It may still keep popping out the front. We'll do that next. We're going to do a slightly different shape on the front. So the back is held in there like that, but the front, I'm going to bring these wires in, and I'm going to bring these wires in so it looks pretty. I'm going to carefully pull this edge wire forward a little bit. I'm going to grip the wire about here, and I'm going to pull it over the stone, and I'm going to bend it in. Again, I was holding the top, so I'm holding the wire here in place, so we haven't adjusted the top yet. And then I'm going to take the next wire, make a little gap there so I can get my pliers around it, a little bit further up. I'm going to twist that wire in too, and then the next wire, and I twist that wire too. So I'm just squeezing all the wires against the stone. My wires are a little bit springy. So I'm going to turn it around so I can do this side. I'm going to pull the wire forward a little bit. And grip it about here. And then I'm going to bend the wire in, making that nice shape on the front there. Take the next wire a little bit further up, bend that wire, then the next one a little bit further up, bend that one. It's hard to reach because I'm reaching through all these lights. And then press that against the stone. So next we're going to take the 2 back wires, pull them out to the back, so we're going to leave those for now. And the rest of the wires we need to separate so we can weave across them. So try and pull the wires out so they're next to each other. We can weave across all 6. So now we're going to weave across the 6 wires, but we're going to do the same weave that we did earlier. If you're enjoying weaving, or if you just want to learn to do more weaves, then there's a written tutorial over in my Etsy shop. It covers all the weaves you can see in the images. So if you'd be interested in checking that out, pop on over to Etsy and I'll see you there. Bye! So we're going to wrap around. I'm going to go around the bottom wire a few times to get myself in place. So we're going to go around 2, come up between those 2, and you just got to do what you can now and just keep pushing the weave down until we're up here so we can be weaving nicely. Then go around the next 2, come up between those 2, go around the front 2, come up between those, around the next 2, come up between those, and then over and around the top wire. And then we go around each wire on the way back down to go around the top wire and the next wire and the next wire. We're going to have to keep pushing this down, and the next wire, and then the second wire, and then the first wire. So we're going to repeat that a few more times, pushing it down the best you can until we're in a nice, till we've got our weave nice and flat. So I've done four repeats of that weave, and you can see my wires are all starting to be flat next to each other now. So when you get to this point, adjust your wires so they are sat next to each other, and then you can weave comfortably across all 6. And we're going to keep weaving, and I will show you the measurement when I've done it. So keep repeating that weave. So I've kept repeating that weave and keep pushing each repeat down as you go, and I've done about 3 centimeters of that weave. So we're going to need some bail pliers, which I forgot to mention, or you can bend this around anything you've got that's that kind of shape. I'm just going to bend those back wires back a bit out the way. So I'm going to use the smaller size, and the aim is we're going to bend the weave over the front, straight down over the front of the weave and give it a squeeze. So I'm bending it back a bit, trying not to pop the stone out. And then bringing that weave together at the front there. Another little squeeze. So now I'm going to take these 2 wires, the 2 further wires at the top if you're holding it this way, and we're going to weave just across those 2 wires. So I'll bring my back wires up so they're out the way. That's Gracie making all that noise. So just working on those 2. We're going to go around the top wire, around the bottom wire, and then around both wires, and that's the repeat. Come up between those two. So you wrap once around the top wire, once around the bottom wire, once around both wires. Keep sliding your weave together, and we'll repeat that weave all the way down to about halfway down your stone. So I've repeated that weave till I'm about halfway down my stone, probably closer to the top than the bottom, sort of part way down. Keep pressing the weave together to get it nice and tidy, and then we're going to curve this weave out. So start at the bottom and bend the wires out so they go out and over the side like that. So that weave is going to reach over the side to the back. So I think I need to just add a little bit more weave just so it reaches. So I'm just going to add a few more repeats to that. Keep pressing it together, and then I'm going to hold the front there, and I'm going to bend the wire over the side and across the back. So I'm just going to add a few more repeats just so I reach to there. And holding the front against the stone, I'm going to bend those wires across the back so they hug around the side of the stone. I'm going to finish that weave with 3 wraps around either wire. Cut that and press the end down. So the next weave we're going to do is across the next 2 wires, and this weave is a bit easier. I'm going to separate the wires at the bottom, so just working across the 2 wires. We take the top wire and we'll wrap 3 times to attach. Slide that all the way up to the top, and then we go 3 wraps around the 2 wires. Bringing the wire up between those 2. So then we wrap 3 times around the top wire again. So it's just 3 wraps around the top wire, 3 wraps around both wires. So I've added weave repeats to that weave, and again keep pressing your weave together as you go. So this weave is going to scoop around at a lower angle to that one. So I'm going to start bending it from the bottom again like we did with the other one. And I want it to come down and sit with a gap between those 2, and then I want it to go over the back. So I need to add, I'm going to hold that there and bend it around the side so I can see how many weave repeats I need. So I just need to weave till it reaches to here. So I've added weave repeats to get to there, and then I'm going to hold that there, bend the wires over the back, so I've got these nice 2 weaves coming down so far. So finish that bottom weave with 3 wraps around the top wire. Cut the wire and flatten it down. And we're going to take this next wire and we're going to bring it across so it scoops around. It goes in between those 2, and then holding it there, I'm going to take that wire over and around to the back too. My wires are very springy. I'll tie it all down in a minute. The last wire is going to come down and scoop down and go across the stone again so we've got a nice gap, and then bend that around and to the back, lower down. So I've got this tail end at the top I need to cut out. So now take the 2 wires from the back from earlier and bending them together, I'm going to bring them around and scoop them around together. And this is the shape we're going for. We want the wires to go underneath all of these. So I'm just going to post the ends through. So they go behind all of those other wires. Try not to let them cross over. Like mine have. That's it. And then we're going to bend them over to come over to this side. So I'm going to pull one to come up a little bit so the middle circle is a little bit smaller. The outer circle is a bit larger, and I've brought the wire down to here. So then the middle wire, holding them here so they don't move much, the middle wire is going to go around the centre of the bail. So holding it the best you can, wriggle that all the way around. The bottom wire is going to go around here and go around the side of the weave there. So we're going to cut this wire up here. And bend it tightly around that side weave. Squeeze it in place around that weave. We're going to take this top wire, holding these 2 wires here. They shouldn't really be affected if you've wrapped it around nice and tight. I'm going to bring this wire straight over that weave. And then as it bends around, I'm going to post it through the weave to the back of that wire. My wire is very springy, so I'm getting a nice sort of loopy halo around the top of that weave there. Then when you've got that shape, holding it in place the best you can, we take this wire around the weave, and we want it quite tight around the weave there. And then bring that wire completely around the weave. And we'll secure it around that weave. So now we're going to finish off all these wires at the back. So lift that wire a little, and we'll start with this end one, holding the wires firmly so they're all in place. I'm going to chop a bit of that wire off, and then I'm going to curl with my round nose pliers that wire around that back wire. and pull it around and tighten it around that back wire. When you do it with the two wires, that's Gracie again making all the noise. What I'm going to do is separate them so the one comes one side and the other one goes the other side. Got so much stuff in the way here. And then wrap them around so they come up, one comes up on one side and one comes up on the other. And then tidy all those up out the way. This wire is a lot tougher than I expected it to be. So I'm just doing it really loosely to start with, just to make sure they're in the right place. And I'm going to do that with all of them. And when they're in place, then I shall tighten them up. So I've tightened each of these wires around and pulled them around into place, squeeze them around that back wire. Give the overall thing a good squeeze to make sure it's all pressed against the stone nice. So there we have it, finished. A nice bit of relaxing weaving for you this week. Hope you managed to follow it okay. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. So if you want to support me, head on over to Etsy and treat yourself to a written tutorial or two. I'm currently running a sale, so that's 15% off. So look after yourselves and I will see you all soon. Bye for now. Bye.